Voters in Jefferson City with two issues on the ballot that could increase the school district's debt.
Anxiously waiting results in this hotly contested Columbia 3rd Ward race.
And Columbia's mayor seeks a second term. I'll be live inside Shiloh Bar and Grill with Bob McDavid with the results. KOMU-8 News at 9 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU-8 News.
Mid-Missouri heads to the polls to decide more than 200 local issues and races. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. We have team coverage tonight of several major races across mid-Missouri. We begin in Boone County tonight with that sales tax. Voters there were asked to decide Proposition 1, a 3/8 sales tax increase. That money would fund improvements with the city and county's 911 center. Here's a look at the vote, and with 26% of the precincts reporting, the yeses are ahead of the noes by about 600 votes. KOMU-8's Dan Kennedy joins us live from a watch party in downtown Columbia with the details. Dan.
I'm live outside a watch party, Blue Restaurant, actually, of supporters of this proposed sales tax increase. We had to step outside a minute as results start to trickle in. It is getting a little loud. We're still waiting on the results of a new 3/8 countywide 911 sales tax. I want to go ahead and show you a graphic we put together of what that means for the county. For first of all, it would mean more staffing to meet current demands. Currently, there's only one call taker for 14 911 lines. It would also mean upgrades to the technology and equipments, construction of a new joint communications 911 dispatch center in one location, and also other funding for emergency management services. I'm joined now by Sheriff Dwayne Carey. Sheriff, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Can you tell us if this passes? Right now you have about 56% of the vote with 80% of the precincts reporting. What does that mean for Boone County residents?
Well, it's going to be a drastic improvement. They have to understand that it's going to take a little bit of time to get that done. One of the things that we're really going to work on is trying to get some operators hired in the immediate future, because the building's going to take a little bit. Buying the new equipment, we'd like to do that as we get the building built, to put the new equipment into the building. And so it's going to be probably about a 2-year process, but the nice thing about it is we can, as soon as we get a hiring list, we can start hiring people right away.
All right, can you describe the atmosphere inside?
It's good. I mean, everybody's been pretty confident all day. There were some polling numbers from last week, along with exit poll today that we saw in a newspaper, and so everybody's pretty confident.
Great. Well, Sheriff, thank you for your time this evening. We appreciate it. We're going to be watching results all evening long. We'll be back tonight at 10 for another live report and another live interview. For now, I'm Dan Kennedy, reporting live from downtown Columbia. Send it back to the studio.
Thanks, Dan. In Columbia, we're following a number of races, including the race for mayor.
Mayor Bob McDavid, who's been in office now for 3 years, has 6,893 votes. This is with about 79% of the votes counted. He has a very sizable lead over his challenger, Sid Sullivan. KOMU-8's Dan Malloy is live at the mayor's watch party at Shiloh Bar and Grill. He continues our live coverage.
Good evening. Mayor Bob McDavid and about 25 supporters are inside Shiloh Bar and Grill this evening, celebrating what looks to be the mayor's re-election. It appears that Bob McDavid will defeat his lone challenger, Sid Sullivan, and Mayor joins me this evening. Mayor Bob McDavid, thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Over your 3 years in office so far, the focus has been a lot on bringing jobs to Columbia. What do you see to be the next big step in the Columbia job market?
Well, I think those challenges will continue with us. We have to fall back on our strengths. Our strengths are our educational system, the university, the 3 colleges that we have here, and we'll use them to lever for economic opportunities in the future.
Do you think that your re-election, what looks like your re-election this evening, is Columbia's endorsement of what you've accomplished in 3 years in office?
You know, this is a very complex city. There are a lot of different points of view, and I think that's one of the things that makes it an amazing town. You know, it involves engaged citizens working together, and we've accomplished a lot of things in this town because of how talented, how smart, how engaged our citizens are, and it's just an amazing thing to watch.
Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor Bob McDavid is the 3rd consecutive Columbia mayor to be elected to at least a second term. Reporting live in Columbia, Dan Malloy, KOMU-8 News.
We're also following the races for City Council. First up, the 3rd Ward race.
Councilman Gary Kespel is being challenged by Carl Scala. Here's a look at those numbers. Scala has 857 votes, while Kespel has 723. That's with 79% of the precincts reporting. KOMU-8's Julia Manning is live at Gary Kespel's watch party with the latest.
I'm here at Jack's Gourmet Restaurant in Columbia, where supporters of incumbent Gary Kespel are gathered anxiously awaiting the results of the 3rd Ward race. Now, this is an atmosphere that is all too familiar for Kespel, as this is the 3rd time he has faced opponent Carl Scala. Scala previously held the seat from 2007 to 2010, when Kespel then won and dethroned him from that re-election bid. Now, that race was decided by just 54 votes. Now, this election season, the two have hotly debated how to handle new city developments and also have varying opinions on Proposition 1. Now, Councilman Kespel joins me now. And, Councilman, what do you see as the biggest issue facing the 3rd Ward right now?
No, it's a 3rd Ward issue and also an entire city issue. My opponent is proposing high impact fees on the city development people. And in my opinion, it'll drive all the development to the outskirts of the city. We'll have such a huge amount of urban sprawl. And the people who live in this ward who don't have a car won't be able to get to those places because the bus can't get there, won't go there. So it'll hamper the people of the 3rd Ward going to new developments to shop and so forth. That's one of the things. The other thing is, in my feeling, we need to update some infrastructure in this ward. The streets were annexed in 1968. I was a part of that annexation. Those streets have not been brought up to city standard, so I think it's time to do that and put sidewalks in.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and good luck. Now, we'll have the latest on those results as they continue to trickle in. For now, reporting live in Columbia, Julia Manning, KOMU-8 News.
Next, the race for Columbia's 4th Ward. Two challengers are trying to unseat current Councilman Darrell Dudley. We'll take a look at the results from the 4th Ward race. It is Ian Thomas, one of those two challengers, with about a 200-vote lead over Darrell Dudley, and Bill Wheatkemper is well back in 3rd place. Once again, this is with 79% of the votes counted. Just a brief background here. Dudley faces the former PedNet executive director Thomas. The ballot also features the retired Columbia Sewer maintenance supervisor. Dudley faced controversy in 2011 when some 4th Ward residents tried to recall his seat. They were displeased with his proposed redistricting plan. During the campaign, the three candidates focused on downtown development and transportation needs. Thomas says if he loses, he will not give up local politics.
So I will use the experience from the campaign to continue to guide my presence at council meetings and my interest in particular issues that face the city of Columbia.
But at this point, Thomas does have the lead. About 25 of his supporters filled Broadway Brewery. Wheatkemper and supporters wait at Booch's, and Dudley supporters are at the Rio Grande restaurant.
Voters in Columbia were also asked to decide eminent domain. So far, 7,875 have voted for the ordinance. 3,400 have about that have voted against it. If passed, it will restrict when the city would have the right to take property. For example, the city could not use eminent domain if it intends to pass that acquired property along to a private interest.
In the capital city, voters were asked to decide a tax levy and a separate bond issue to increase the Jefferson City School District's debt by $79 million.
On the 25-cent tax levy increase, which would go towards security, staffing, technology support, and transportation services, about 3,000 have said yes, and almost 6,000 have said no.
And then on the 30-cent bond increase, which would go to build a new high school and elementary school, the noes are leading by a wide margin with 79% of the votes counted, 6217 to 2964. For more, let's join KOMU-8's Megan Malaris live in the capital city with the details. Megan.
Now, we are still awaiting those results, but if voters do approve that 30-cent bond increase and the 25-cent tax levy, residents of Jefferson City ultimately will be paying a 55-cent total property tax increase per $100 of assessed valuation. Now, to put that into context, let's say your home is worth $100,000. You probably would be paying a yearly increase of about $104. That's according to school district officials. Now, the school will hold 9th through 12th grade, include 7 classrooms, and would have space for up to 3,500 students. Again, if these issues are approved. Now, opponents of this proposal have pushed for the creation of a second high school instead, saying, quote, a mega school could be detrimental to students and unnecessarily would raise taxes. But the Jefferson City School District warns against splitting the district into 2 school districts.
And the money to build a new high school, then your bond and your levy, bond in particular, your bond goes up significantly. I mean, if all things were equal, we would be talking about maybe a $1.10 increase as opposed to 55 cents.
Now let's talk about what would happen physically to this building, which was built in 1964. Lincoln University across the street here and Lynn State Technical College just down the road have both signed contracts to purchase different parts of the property. Now the new high school would be located at Highway 161 and Mission Drive on 115 acres of land purchased for $3.1 million. The new East Elementary School would be located on East McCarty Street, and the old location would become the new Miller Center. Now the district projects these changes are on task to be completed by August 2016. We will be following those results and we'll bring you updates at 10. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Megan Malaris, KOMU 8 News.
Several counties in mid-Missouri voted on a use tax that could mean more money for those counties.
KOMU 8's Jack Washer joins us here in the studio with the latest results and what that tax would do for those counties.
Yeah, results are still coming in. The use tax is a tax imposed on both businesses and consumers and is generally collected when someone purchases an item without paying its home state sales tax. A common situation is when an individual buys an automobile in another state and brings it into its home state. Let's take a look at some of the results we have so far. In Randolph County, with 100% reporting tonight, we have a yes at 889 votes to no at 678 votes. Now moving on to Montauk County, also reporting with 100%. We have 674 in favor and no in favor of 556. And finally, in Morgan County, here are the numbers. We have, with 100% reporting just coming in, we have 1,061 in yes and 930 in no. You know, the loss in revenue for counties like Gasconade County could be potentially as high as $60,000 a year if the tax isn't passed. We'll continue to watch the numbers come in, and we'll bring you another update tonight at 10.
A road closing east of Columbia may make drivers commute a little bit longer.
Yeah, you'll no longer be able to zip across Route Z. That's coming up. Plus, a recent rock slide closes a road south of Columbia. We'll tell you where.
And it's a pretty nice day today, shaping up to be the same situation for tomorrow, but with warmer temperatures. We're going to have a look at that coming up here on KOMU News at 9.
Now, your live Doppler 8 First Alert weather.
We're going to have a chance for a precip here moving into the beginning of your work week for Monday at a temperature of 68 degrees, and that chance will stick with us for Tuesday.
All right, thank you very much.
No problem.
A new purchase by the Columbia Police Department stirs up controversy.
And it's all about where the money is coming from to make the purchase. Some controversy surrounding the approval to purchase a new armored vehicle for the Columbia Police Department. The cost is $227,000. About $36,000 comes from the city's forfeiture assets fund, money that comes from police seizures. Members of the group Keep Columbia Free say that money should go towards education instead, but officers say the new Bearcat vehicle is worth the cost. The city council plans to continue the discussion in its upcoming meetings.
Construction to stabilize a rock slide that happened last week will close Westbrook Drive tomorrow and for a month. Westbrook Drive intersects Route 63 south of Ashland. MoDOT will close the southern access point while crews are working on that bluff. The intersection will be closed until May 3rd. The rock slide closed a northbound lane last Thursday, and that lane will stay closed until next week. If you're driving east on I-70 from Columbia, MoDOT is closing the Route Z overpass. Crews are dismantling the overpass. Cars can no longer cross it, and crews will take it down tomorrow night and Thursday morning. The project, funded by MoDOT and Boone County, focuses on expanding their bridge, and the road drivers will also get a roundabout to ease traffic loads near Battle High School. Mizzou basketball is used to bringing transfers in, but now it's a different story.
transferring out. We'll have details on the announcement next in sports.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports with Chris Gervino.
Hi, everyone. A pair of players are leaving the Missouri men's basketball team. Freshman guards Negus Webster-Chan and Dominique Bull will transfer. Webster-Chan played in 25 games, averaging 2.5 points and 2 rebounds. He made 6 starts. Bull played sparingly, appearing in just 9 games and averaging less than 2 minutes per contest. Another honor for Mizzou wrestling coach Brian Smith. He's the Mid-America Conference Coach of the Year. Smith guided the Tigers to a 7th place finish last month at the NCAA National Championship meet. Mizzou qualified wrestlers in all 10 weight classes. Since no other SEC school has a wrestling program, Mizzou competed in the Mid-America Conference this season and won the league championship. Last year, Smith earned Big 12 Coach of the Year honors when Missouri was part of the Big 12 Conference. The Missouri baseball team played at Busch Stadium tonight. No, not against the Cardinals, but the Fighting Illini of Illinois. And the game is over. Mizzou suffers a 6-2 loss. The Tigers drop to 9-16 on the season. They head to Athens, Georgia this weekend for a 3-game SEC series with the Georgia Bulldogs. The renewal of a Mid-Missouri rivalry on the softball field today. The Columbia Cottage Cougars visiting Fulton to play a doubleheader against the Owls of William Woods. William Woods pitcher Mackenzie Bowden, high-fiving her teammates there, scored this game, and Chelsea Crane of Columbia gets the first hit of the ball game. The William Woods baseball team supporting the softball squad. Bases loaded, 4th inning. Bowden strikes out Columbia's Lauren Burkbugler to retire the side. Game still scoreless, but then in the bottom of the 4th, Ashley Depew puts one into the gap to score Lindsay Lakuru for the game's first run. William Woods up 1-0. On to the 6th inning, though, and Chelsea Crane cranks a 2-run homer to left for the Columbia Cottage Cougars. They had a 2-1 lead. They win it 4-2 and then complete a sweep, taking the nightcap by a score of 3-2. And that is sports.
Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10 o'clock, live team coverage of today's election. We'll have reports from Columbia and Jefferson City.
And one mid-Missouri city is taking a big challenge to keep more than 50,000 pounds of trash out of its landfills.
And like I said, it was a nice day today, and it's going to be shaping up to be the same for tomorrow. But when we wake up, it's going to be a little chilly here at 28 degrees. But like I said, tomorrow with a high of 54, a bit warmer. So I know most people won't be wearing a jacket. But for the overnight hours, it's going to dip down into the 30s. So if you're stepping out tonight, probably want to grab that jacket.
All right, thanks. And we'll have lots of election coverage coming up.
And remember, if you want to get the numbers up to date, you can always go to KOMU.com. You'll see all of the election results as they happen. At 10 o'clock, we'll have all sorts of live reports. We'll get reaction from the winners, the losers. We'll take a look at the numbers.
And we had 79% reporting for this newscast.
So
at
we
10,
should have finals at 10 o'clock.
Good chance that we'll have all the numbers in.
All right. Have a nice evening. We'll see you back here in a half hour.
Night.